Hi, Ken. Ken, you wind up arriving at an 8-year deal. Can you kind of maybe take me through that term length, how you arrived at that? I mean, was there ever close to being perhaps a shorter term? I wonder if you can take us through that aspect of it.
I mean, we started a long time ago. We started, Rick Follett and I met for the first time, I think it was in January of 20, and then obviously March, the pandemic hit. And then we really got at it in September. Talked some in October, couldn't find a solution. Then we picked up again in February, decided to wait till the end of the year. I think that, for Nuge, term was important. He loves being an Oiler. He loves playing and living in Edmonton. He loves the fan base. He wants to play his entire career as an Edmonton Oiler. So certainly we had lots of conversations about term. And I think, to do a deal, I'm not going to get my term and my cap number. I had to decide on one of the two things. I look at the team now, and, you look at Connor 24, Nuge 28, Leon 25, Darnell 26. We're obviously, the time is to try to win is now. I mean, these players are in the prime of their career. The cap's 81.5. Hopefully here, the back half of that, the contract, the cap starts to go north at least a little bit. So cap number was important to me. Term was important to Ryan and Rick Follett. And ultimately, I got a cap number that I was pleased with, and they got a term that they were pleased with.
And ultimately, how do you see Nugent-Hopkins' role on the team moving forward? He's mostly been a center, but he's played a ton of wing over the last 2 seasons. He's on every special team situation. I mean, how do you ultimately think he's going to define himself in the game?
Well, I think that's the beauty of Nuge. I think he can play left wing and he can play center. And I think, there's been lots of talk. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to, one of the things that this contract has done, on any negotiation of a player of Nuge's importance and Nuge's stock in the company, stock in terms of his, his role, how long he's been here. I try to walk the player and the agent through what I'm trying to accomplish. So certainly, we're trying to get deeper. We've got to get a little bit deeper. So as I go through the process between now and September of whatever moves we make, then we get to training camp, and then it's going to be up to the coaching staff, Dave Tippett and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, to decide if we're best served with him in left wing, or if we're best served with him in the middle. And I think that's the beauty of not only Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, of Leon Draisaitl. Leon can play left wing with Connor. Leon can go on center another line. Nuge can play left wing with Connor. Nuge can play left wing with Leon. They give us lots of flexibility. So exactly where Nuge fits, that's going to be up to Dave Tippett in seeing how everything fits once we make whatever moves we make this summer.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, TSN.
Ken, right in the middle of this negotiation, we had these unprecedented times take place where, you end up with a flat cap, you end up heading into last year's free agency where you don't know where the market's going to be. How much did external factors get in the way and complicate this negotiation, and is that part of why it took the time it did?
Oh, it was massive. I think, when you go into these negotiations, you look at comparables. I mean, I think, everybody wants to be treated, compensated, I'm going to use the word fairly or equitable. And it's always about comparables. And then obviously then there's leverage built into negotiations. Are you an unrestricted free agent? Are you a restricted free agent? What's your ARB case? And all those factors go into the negotiation. So, when we first met, Rick Follett and I can remember it was over at JW Marriott. I hadn't done any deals with Rick in the past. So he flew into town and we spent almost 3 hours over at the JW Marriott just sitting and talking, getting to know one another, and then March we had a pandemic, and then obviously you go to October and the marketplace was lower than it was before, and then you come out, so it's made it a very difficult negotiation. And I think probably if there wasn't a pandemic, the cap wouldn't be 81.5. The cap would be, I think when I went to the managers meeting that year in March, they were talking the cap was going to be around $85 million, and you're projecting that the cap is going to go 85, 90, 95, or 85, 88, 92, but it's going to go north, and all of a sudden you've got a cap that's 81.5 last year and 81.5. So, had there not have been a pandemic, these would be way different numbers. And I think that obviously was a big factor in why it took Rick Follett and I. We really got at it in earnest in September. So it's September, October, November, December. Took us 9 months to find a solution.
This is obviously a big piece that you can slot in now on that side. It's done. There's still some other space over there on that left wing in that top six. Can you describe or give us a sense of the type of playing style you would love to insert there if you could?
Well, obviously you're looking to upgrade your skill. You watch these games. Watched last night Montreal and Tampa Bay, and I was fortunate to be in the finals 6 times. You need deep teams. You need depth. You need grit. So all of the above. So those are the types of things that we're looking at. Want to upgrade our skill level. We're trying to get a little deeper with skill level. We talked at the end of the year about trying to get a little more depth of scoring. That's skill, but you're also you want gritty people. Especially come playoff time. Well, if you're looking to upgrade your skill and you're looking to add grit, those players don't become available very often. If they do, there's lots of teams after them. So sometimes it's about money, sometimes it's about where they want to play and who they're playing with. But I think we'd like to get deeper. I know we want to get a little bit deeper, and a little bit better. And I think I'd said to you at the year-end exit interview, part of that's internal. Part of that has to be some of the young people that are on our team just take another step. It's not all external, but some of us getting better is me going outside the organization and making a move or 2 or 3 to make us better. But also some of the evolution of our team has to be from players inside getting better, and then a push from young players over the course of the season. If they don't make our team early in the year, they're pushing by the end. They come up by the end of the year.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
A couple of things, Ken. Free agency is always a tough go. Is it easier just to sign your own player because you know your own player better than anybody else out in the market, even if they might have lots going for them?
Well, yeah, I would say so. Jim, free agency is, there's 32 teams that are working the phones on July the 28th. There's a limited number of players. There's lots of players, but players of Nugent's ability, there's not a lot of top 6 forwards. Nuge was drafted by the Oilers. He's from Vancouver. He played junior in Red Deer. He's got, I believe his wife is from Red Deer. He's a Western Canadian. He loves playing. He loves living in Western Canada. He loves playing in Western Canada. He enjoys his role on the team. He's really respected and has lots of good friends in the locker room. He's part of the core. So to not find a solution to let Ryan Nugent-Hopkins go to market and sign elsewhere, I've got to find all those things. And, we got to find someone that's a top six forward and somebody that, can play left wing and play center. He gives us, all the things that Nuge brings to our team. He wants to be in Edmonton so yeah, the answer is absolutely a resounding yes. But at the same time, as we were going through the negotiation, and again, it was on again, off again. We went for a little bit September and October, and then we couldn't until middle of October. Couldn't find a solution, and we started again in the middle of February, and we went for about middle of February till the end of March, early April, and then decided we were going to wait till the end of the season. So, it was important. Certainly, Ryan's 28. He might sign other contracts, but certainly this is his last significant contract. So it's an important contract for him and his family. And it was an important contract, to the Edmonton Oilers because of his importance to the team. And certainly we're in a cap world, and it's a flat cap, this year, and who knows how much it's going to go up the next year or two. So that's why I had said earlier to Reed Wilkins' question is the cap was an important to me when you look at the core of the team, and there's give and take, and the next 4 or 5 years are really important years. This is the prime years of lots of players on this team, and this contract was negotiated because, as you said, I know Nuge, he knows us, he likes being an Oiler. I know what he can bring to the team, and we found a solution that made him comfortable, and a solution that made us comfortable. That's why we're here today.
And I presume now with Nugent-Hopkins signed, you are protecting 7 forwards and 3 defensemen?
Correct.
In the expansion draft?
That's correct.
Correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jack Michael, 630 Chad.
Ken, just to follow up a little bit about what you were just talking about, with a flat cap and just in general in today's NHL, you wouldn't think there's much room for sentimentality, but is there still value in having a guy, as you suggested, with 10 years in the community already, thought well of by his teammates and the community as a whole? Is there still real value in that, and does that come up in negotiations?
Well, I don't think I can make deals on sentimentality. I think at the end of, I think as we sit here today, and I'm not sure where you're going with your question. I think as we sit here today, I think if Ryan goes to market on July the 28th, I have no doubt, I'm telling you, in my mind, he's getting a cap north of what he got today. How far north? You got to get to market. So, so he's giving there. He wanted to be an Oiler. He wanted to be an Oiler. He wants to be an Oiler. He loves being an Oiler. He loves living here. He wants to be an Oiler his entire career. That's important. That's important to him. Now, I'm not going to. So at the end of the day, now he's got great hockey sense. He's really smart. He's very poised with the puck. He's got attributes to his game that'll never. When he's 60 years old, when he's playing old timers, he's going to have hockey sense, and he's going to have hands, and he's going to be smart, and he's going to be poised, and he's not going to turn the puck over, and he's going to be. Those are all things. So I think at the end of the day, when you strike, then you project 8 years out, 6 years out, 7 years out, where's the cap? I think the cap is going to go north. I believe the cap is going to go north to some degree. Nobody knows because of, we were trying to speculate on the economy and you're trying to speculate on the future. So, as we sit here in a negotiation, we're trying to find Ryan and Rick Follett, Ken Holland and the Edmonton Oilers are trying to find a solution that works for everybody. It's not based upon sentimentality. It's based upon trying to put the best team that we can on the ice for 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, 24-25, and forward. And if we'd have lost Nuge, it would have been a massive loss. He's for all the reasons we've just talked about here, his versatility, he can play center, he can play left wing, his leadership in the locker room, he can kill penalties, he can play left wing, he can play center, he thinks at a high level. So it's not about sentimentality, it's about trying to win. And no contract's perfect. No contract's perfect. It's easy to look back, going forward, like I said, I'm sure Ryan would like to have a bigger cap number, and I'd like to have less term. But at the end of the day, this is a deal that Ryan felt good about. This is a deal that I felt good about, and we're trying to put the best team that we can on the ice for 21-22. And then when the summer comes next summer, we'll be doing the same thing again for 22-23, and we'll see where it goes, but it's about trying to win. It's about trying to put the very best team that we can on the ice for the next while. And we are a much better team with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the team.
Ken, thank you. And considering where you started in terms of that first conversation with Rick Follett, both in term and dollar figure, the length of time and undoubtedly the vacillations between where you guys were at the start and where you finished, is it safe to say that with all your experience, this is one of the more unique deals you've ever done and will ever do?
Yeah, maybe the most unique to this point in time, yes. I mean, the pandemic changed everything, Reed. I mean, I think I'm talking to Reed, but we started the negotiation pre-pandemic, and then, we've played a season in there, obviously a 56-game season. We finished up, we had a bubble playoff in August. So this is the most unique contract negotiation that personally I have ever been through.
Last question, Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Just a couple of things. How are things going with the negotiations with Adam Larsson?
We're still talking. We'll see. Obviously, I would like to re-sign him. Obviously, Adam's an unrestricted free agent, much like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Anytime you're an unrestricted free agent, these are big decisions. So I'd like to re-sign Adam Larsson, but I know that he's going through a process to decide exactly what he wants to do.
And one other thing, as a general manager, if you just had Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to do and see Adam Larsson to sign, it would be a lot easier than looking at your roster and saying, okay, I've got a hole here, I've got a hole here, I've got a hole here, I got a hole here. So you have lots of balls in the air. So this isn't, a lot of teams are just trying to sign one guy.
Yeah, but you know what, Jim, I guess I would say that was sort of by design. If you looked at it, a year ago, I knew Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was coming up to last year. I knew, Adam Larsson. We signed Tyson Barrie to a one-year deal. I signed a bunch of players to a one-year deal. So, I think it was, we're trying to, I came here the year before I got here, they finished 28th overall, and then we finished 12th overall. But, we finished 12th overall with the number 1 power play and the number 2 penalty killing. And, so that we made some moves, and now it gave me the flexibility, I guess, to have another year to evaluate our team, to see where we're at. And we had a good year. I thought we made strides we went from 12th overall to 11th overall, but it's only one move, but we backed up a 12th overall with an 11th overall. So it was 2 years in a row where we had pretty good years. We know we've got work to do. I know we've got work to do. We want to get better. We've got aspirations to be better than that. So I knew that over the course of this past season, I could evaluate the team, and if we needed to go and do some different things, then we were positioned that we could do different things. But certainly, when you looked at the way we played and the players that played, today we're announcing Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Hopefully, we can have a little more of that here in the next month, because we played good. Now I know we got to get better, but we had some. We finished second in the North. We tied Washington for the best road record in the National Hockey League. We heard all this. We played good. So because of, by design, a year ago of having the flexibility of going in one direction or the other, certainly that's going to lead to a busy off season.
Time for one quick one from Ryan or Shrog.
Yeah, last one for me. Thanks, Ken and
Yeah.
Sean. Ken, is there any more clarity on the situation moving forward with Oscar Klefbom, or do you have to assume that you're going to be in the market for somebody to play, on that second pairing on the left side?
I talked to JP Barry today, his agent, told him I wanted to reach, we got to get a conference call going with Klef. He said he hadn't talked to Klef in a couple of weeks, so he wasn't really totally up to speed where he's at. So I plan, in the next 10 days to connect with Klef and JP Barry and get, Klef telling me exactly what he's thinking and where he's feeling and how he's feeling. So I don't know at this stage of the game, but I will know in the next 10 days.